Can we have the system here linked to the screen? Now, when it comes to acute primary angle closure, we all know that a lot has changed because of evidence that we have had and the experience over many years that we are having. But we still, why did you close the presentation? And we fall into either a group which has not caught up and still manages acute angle closure the same way it was being managed 15 years back, or a group who wants to take out the lens as soon as they see any kind of angle closure. The truth probably lies somewhere in between. Now, it's very important to understand that every patient who has closed angles and presents to you with a pressure of 60 is not acute primary angle closure. The definition insists on the suddenness of the onset of the symptoms along with the signs that you typically see in a patient with acute angle closure, which are listed here. The initial management of acute angle closure is very, very important, and it is important to suppress the aqueous production, dehydrate the vitreous body using glycerol or mannitol, constrict the pupil, open up the angles using pilocarpine, as well as reduce inflammation using steroids. Now, this is very basic, but we will be surprised to see how not all these 4 components are addressed in most of the patients who come to you. There is no doubt in my mind, and I'm quite sure everyone present here, that the laser iridotomy is the first critical step in the management of a patient with acute primary angle closure, and this cannot be skipped. Now, while it is challenging, using a few tips like reducing the intraocular pressure as much as you can, using the green light on the slit lamp to enable you see the aiming beam, which are red in color, a little better, and performing a PI, not necessarily in the most peripheral part, but just beyond the mid-periphery where the pupillary block is happening and at a site where the pupil is most constricted, can help you perform a PI in patients with even acute angle closure. If you fail the first time, don't hurry and go another PI. Go to do another PI, just wait, use steroids, use medications to control the intraocular pressure as much as you can. Maybe try a few days later. But if you go on doing PI after PI, you may end up worsening the situation. If you fail, then these options are iridoplasty, which can be done even through a hazy cornea, and a surgical iridectomy. What about an uncontrolled acute primary angle closure after a PI? Now, I believe, and our experience has been, that it's very, very important to differentiate between these 2 entities where you have an acute and chronic angle closure versus where the angle closure has precipitated from a PACS or a PAC, which I would like to just call acute PAC de novo. Now, for acute PAC de novo, it's very important to look at lens vault, as has been stressed earlier, but most of these probably will respond to a cataract surgery. Now, what is the evidence in favor of cataract surgery? There are many retrospective studies which have shown that the patients with acute primary angle closure respond very well to just cataract extraction. But if you look at the case selection criteria, you will realize that these are patients who have very mild variety of acute angle closure, intraocular pressure becoming less than 30 after just a few hours. This means they are of a milder variety. What about randomized controlled trials? Now, there are 2 randomized controlled trials, and both these trials did not randomize patients into performing a laser PI and a phacoemulsification without a PI directly. And you see that the eyes with phacoemulsification have performed better, though the complications of phacoemulsifications that you see are a little higher than what you would expect in a standard phacoemulsification. Now, this is our experience, my experience. So, this is a very small number of eyes, but if you see, these are eyes which had intraocular pressure raised on multiple medications and had a surgery in acute stage, and they all improved, but some of them are on medications. What happens when you do a cataract extraction many weeks to months later? So it is very clear that whenever you take out the lens, it's not necessary to do it in the acute phase if you can control it during that time. You can pass on the benefits of the cataract extraction, and they all will get a very good intraocular pressure control. And you see, none of these patients are on medications after cataract surgery performed months to years later. What happens when you do a trabeculectomy for uncontrolled acute primary angle closure? Well, Rashmi published this, and when we analyzed the small number of eyes, we realized that the success rate, when you compare it between eyes of group A, which have uncontrolled intraocular pressure, versus group B, which had controlled intraocular pressure, was much lower, and they had much higher rate of complications. So performing a trabeculectomy when the intraocular pressure is uncontrolled may not be the best idea for this group of population. Now, I already spoke of one differential, though there is lack of definitive evidence on this. But if you perform only a cataract surgery in a patient who has significant disc damage or has acute and chronic PAC, you are likely to end up with poor intraocular pressure control and higher complications like aqueous misdirection and choroidal detachment. Now, there is one differential we have found in our study where the patients present exactly similar to that of acute PAC is patients with anterior lens subluxation. Now, it can be picked up clinically, but if you want to look at biometry, look at the difference between the right and left eye. Normal anterior chamber in the right eye with a thick lens, whereas very shallow anterior chamber with a thinner lens. Now, this is nothing but an anterior subluxation in the left eye, which is causing the closure and is presenting very similar to acute PAC. In conclusion, a mixture of both evidence and opinion, the diagnosis on the basis of acuteness and intensity of symptoms is a must. Very important to adequately control intraocular pressure with initial management before you do a PI. That will enhance your success of PI. And a laser iridotomy is a must. It will reduce the chances of complications in your phacoemulsification. De novo acute PAC phacoemulsification benefits, but the benefit is not lost by delaying the surgery. And trabeculectomy in uncontrolled APAC, the role is questionable. If you have acute and chronic PACG, doing a combined may be a better idea than doing just a phaco. And do not forget, acute subluxation, anterior subluxation of lens can very often present in a very similar way. Thank you. I would like to invite questions if you have for the panelists present here.
Siddharth, I wanted to ask a question best to you so regarding that chronic, during the COVID time, where travel restrictions were there and all sorts of restrictions, I have done 7 or 8 patients with chronic angle closure glaucoma with visually significant cataract with sudden rise in intraocular pressure. They came in the 30s, mid-30s, and I just did cataract surgery for them, phacoemulsification, clear corneal, told the patients that the patient cannot come for regular follow-up, the kind of intense follow-up that you do. All those 8 patients are doing extremely well. The pressure has come down. None of them, many of these patients, even from 2 medications, have come down to 1 medication. So I think, so these patients where the eyes are very deep set, hard cataract, and congested eye, who have been on treatment for a long period of time, it is a good idea to just give a trial of, a clear corneal phacoemulsification. And if it doesn't come down, then trap. So I have not done trap for any of these patients. Then I looked up the literature. In fact, Chandik PGI has reported, a series of cases where they had exactly the similar experience, and I think at about 10 or 12% of their series went in for trabeculectomy a couple of months or years later. So I think this is a point that I wanted to communicate to the audience that angle closure glaucoma with cataract extraction alone can help.
Without a PI.
No, they had already PI. PI was already done, but then
Right.
for some reason maybe the lens was becoming thicker and the PI had
Right.
was not adequate for whatever reason. They lost to follow up and they started coming back during the COVID time, one by one. 8 patients in about 6 months time, and then this is what
Definitely,
yeah.
but a very important caveat is who is doing the cataract surgery. If you are doing versus I am doing, the results are bound to be different. I'm just joking, but what you are saying is absolutely correct. So, if done carefully in an expert's hand, the cataract surgery alone does very well in these eyes. Just that the chances of having complications is a little higher. But if you are very confident enough and skilled as Sir is, then you can definitely do a cataract surgery and give a trial, as you mentioned.
No, my point is complications would be higher if you combine with the trabeculectomy. These are deep set eyes, hard cataract, small people, iris hooks. So you want to do a trab also that time. Surgery as such becomes difficult, more time consuming, and post-op follow-up, of course, could not be done those days.
Yeah.
So this is what my
Right.
experience has
This
been.
is exactly very similar to what Manisha showed when Clement Tham's study came up in terms of uncontrolled PACGs.
So
That
it would be a question of pressures are in the 30s with on two medications. Then I would really hesitate a little bit to do only a cataract, especially if the disc is compromised. But if the pressures, like you said, most of those patients were on a single combination or two drugs, and they're not really sky high, discs are not too bad, a cataract alone is a good option, especially when the angles are not completely open.
absolutely.
Yes.